I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakadash, double honor to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to you, Arkham that's pushing this truth. This is the brother Yakulam from the GMS Boston camp, and now the one right desire through the Spirit. This lesson is edifying as well as a faith builder. I want to go into an RT article, which goes into almost entire world population is breathing substandard air, says the World Health Organization, which is known also as WHO. And it says the human body tasked with advising governments on global public health challenges updated its air pollution database on Monday for the first time since 2018. According to the new information, 99% of the world's population breathes air that falls short of its standard for quality. So it goes to show it doesn't matter your social status, doesn't matter your financial status, how well you eat, how fit you are, when we all breathe the same air. The only difference is just some air is polluted than the other. And it makes me think back to the movie The Lorax, when they were cutting down the trees for profit, which art imitates life, life imitates art. We always go through that, where this dude was cutting down the trees, not caring about not only the animals that depended on the area where they were cutting down the trees, but by cutting down the trees, it caused a shortage in oxygen. Therefore, there was a company, I believe it was O'Leary, that ended up making a profit off of selling clean air. And if the Lord was to let these devils to continue, they would do just that. I mean, even when you look at the movie Elysium, before I go back to the point, and the Lorax, they made sure to show you how dusty it was. And I believe that part of the movie took place in LA, how dusty and how polluted the air was. But yet when they was on um Elysium, which was their space thing in the sky, you can tell everything was green, everything had life, the air was clean. When they got sick, they were healed. But the point being is, this is the consequences of having a wicked ruler in power. There was a short video that showed basically an Edomite going around the world. He took the snake, made snake boots, took the elephant, made ivory tusks and put the head on the thing, saw the trees and cut them down. This is the case. And just a little known fact, even if you Google it, it tells you that trees also store carbon dioxide in their fibers, helping to clean the air and reduce the negative effects that the CO2 could have had on our environment. According to the Arbor Day Foundation, in 1 year, a mature tree will absorb more than 48 pounds of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and release oxygen in exchange. This is why there's so much air sickness, so much airborne diseases. And bringing it right back to the movie The Lorax, if this devil had his way, he would sell air instead of the whole point of him stopping the protagonist in the movie from planting a tree, because it would cut into his business. So here you have the WHO telling these countries to come together to stop pollution, but that will put a dent in these elites' pockets, because how is pollution? They have to tear down. They're cutting down all these trees. They're also polluting the skies with their factories. And once again, it goes back to a wicked ruler being in power. And this is 2 Peter 3:13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness, because the scripture goes into when a righteous and in authority, the people rejoice. We don't know what it is to bathe in clean water, or to even drink clean water. Even if you drink it out the stream, shit, man, there's some contamination to it. We don't know what it is to, in this case, breathe fresh air, eat true organic food without it being labeled, even though it's just a label. Just like they show you in these how Coca-Cola owns so many different subdivisions of not just their soda lines, but their water lines, to where dude said it's the same shit. They just put a different label on it. So it's the same thing. We don't know what it is to bathe in clean water, drink clean water, breathe fresh air. And not only is the air polluted through them cutting down the trees, and I mentioned through their factories and their pollution, also through the chemtrails that they put in the skies. So these devils will compromise fresh breathing air just to spray something in to get you sick, to make money off of you. They would rather put fluoride in your water, which is close to being like a numbing agent. That's what the Nazis was using during World War II to make the people more some subjective, halakiakim. Once again, showing you that, see, we look for a new heaven where this ruler isn't going to be in power. So these things aren't going to be done at the expense of our health. And I didn't even touch on the medical field, just to keep it on topic, how they don't get paid to heal you, they get paid to keep you sick. And this is the book of Micah 2:10, because it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." I mentioned earlier, it does not matter your status, how much money you make, where you live, where you don't live. It said after a study, 99% of the air that people breathe is polluted. So eventually your body is a ticking time bomb. It's killing you. And especially here in Babylon, they're heavy on the chemtrails. They're heavy on the chemicals being released, especially with the pandemic. You know, they showed you on the TV show Top Gear how they had a machine that made clouds and then it to rain. And not just that, also there was footage over there in the Middle East where they were spraying out something which was all type of chemicals. Once again, it goes back to who's in power. And this is Ecclesiasticus 14:5, because it says, "He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his own good." So this devil's polluting the same air that that um that he breathes. And who knows? I mentioned the Lorax. You know, these devils, when they go to sleep, they probably got fresh oxygen tanks that they breathe in before they go to sleep. But this is why so many people have sinuses and all this allergies. You know, when was that a thing back in the day? You know, it's just so much more to it. And this is why I brought out Micah 2:10 as well, because man, our people needed to depart, not physically but mentally, from this place, wanting this place to continue. You know, thinking that this is the end of be all, thinking that being a slave is okay, or thinking because you got a job and so forth. You know, there's so many factors, you know, and this is just another one added on to that tally. And like, that's the thing too. I had mentioned the ways that this devil pollutes the air, and I have brought out the fact of what one tree could do. And sometimes while I'm driving through the Blue Hill, and the brothers know it's in the back roads, and it's basically a bunch of trees, and it's like, you know, walkways and paths. But I remember a couple of years back, my sister's husband told me to roll down the window, and he was like, "You smell that?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's that fresh air that you don't get in the city." And even if it's the winter time when I'm driving back there, I'll always roll the window down to get a breath of that. And this is why I hate these devils. They want you to move into a city with all this congestion, all these buildings. Makes me think over there by a certain area where the hospital is. You can see that smog coming out those pipes. You know, and this is the book of Isaiah 24:6. I got a couple of precepts, just two more left. Wasn't gonna drawing out this lesson. Saw through the spirits. Isaiah 24:4 says, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languish and fadeth away. The haunted people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof." Once again, going back to who's in power, who's allowing these things. I ain't even mentioned made me think of what the brother Zion asked us do to camp. Like, if you was a ruler, would you prohibit smoking because you know what it does to your citizens? And he was like, "Nah, I would give people that choice." And that's off, because I didn't even mention all the secondhand smoke that travels through the air, or the CO2 that comes out of cars. And once again, if there's no trees to clean that and filter that, then you know it's a slow death, a silent killer. And it says, The earth also is defiled under the habitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, and broke the everlasting covenants. They don't practice a land Sabbath. That should show you. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men are left. And this also goes into how, there's a reason why the Lord had to he's shortening the days for his elect's sake, not just because of how bad Jacob's trouble is going to be when you read that full chapter, but just to show you, like, there would be no flesh to sin. And it's also a reminder that we want to get out of these bodies, these chains of darkness, not just because we're confounded, to sin, we're confounded to go off, but because of the state of these bodies, and to know that these devils are putting more of a burden on these bodies by I mentioned earlier, the food that we eat, the water that we drink, the air that we breathe, and just listen, man. This is why we look for a new heaven. And it's the book of Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants and prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So these devils have to pay. Not only are we suffering, do we breathe this air, but the animals breathe this air as well. This is why, and I'm going to end it on this lesson. And I mentioned the movie The Lorax too, for those, that checked it out. What happens at the end of that movie? Once that dude plants that tree and everybody realizes that they're tired of paying for air and there's a free solution. The same way there was made me think of Tesla, not the company, Elon Musk's company, but Tesla. He was basically working on free energy, but J.P. Morgan and them didn't want that. They couldn't benefit from it. But it just goes to show you at the end of it all, when he planted that tree, the people broke forth singing, and then more trees started growing. The air started being fresh. This is Isaiah 14:5. The Lord had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and unhindered. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet, and they break forth into singing. I'm going to end it there, and maybe think once again of that movie, The Lorax, to where they all broke forth singing. And that's going to be the same way when it's wicked, the so-called white man E, because he's responsible for this heat. Come on now. And it makes me think back to what happened Sunday with this dude, I get into a lesson on that. I was working on the preset where this Christian dude, we deal with his boss, is what we call him, because nobody else is really allowed to speak. But he didn't come this Sunday. This dude came up and he was looking at the signs, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's all conspiracy theories." And there's so many different signs, but so when you see that sign of, the sign of the wicked, how is that a conspiracy theory? Going back into the point that I'm making is, these devils are to blame because they own these companies that pollute the earth. They own all these companies. They have the machinery. They're the ones that tear the earth up. They're the one that's bringing the earth to its knees by having everybody suffer. We don't have the power to do that. We don't have the power to chop down rainforests. I mean, go on Google, type in the word lumberjack, man, and who's gonna pull up E? They even had a movie on them. But it just goes to show you, these devils, they gonna be taken out of power, and the whole earth is gonna be at rest. When that new heaven comes, and out of our deserve, well, part of that elect to be that fresh food, we gonna know what it is to drink fresh water, to eat true organic food with seeds, breathe fresh air, and out of our deserve. So I hope this lesson was edifying. Once again, it's a reminder, man, that this place has to be destroyed. So I hope this lesson was edifying as well as a faith build. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kadash. Double honor to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to you, Arkham, that's pushing this truth. Till next time, Yahshua. Shalom.